Hello, and welcome to today's 5-minute message. We are in the book of 1 John. We finally made it to chapter 4 last week. But last week we started to think about the idea of being able to discern the Spirit of God. And last week when we started this section, we thought about the test of confession. See, there's 3 tests that John's going to give us here as we get to this section of Scripture as we think about trying to discern the Spirit of God. And last week was the test of confession. Do you confess that Jesus is the Christ? If we're trying to discern the Spirit of God in the hearts and lives of people, because this is the best we can do, as you're talking to people, do they confess that Jesus is the Christ? And we looked at that last week. This week, the second test of trying to discern the Spirit of God is the test of communication. You know, there's a lot of people out there that love people watching. And maybe you're one of them. You like to go to the mall and you like to watch people walk by. You like to sit at a park bench and you like to watch people go by. And you're just a people watcher. You like to see what people are doing. You know, what are they up to? Where are they going? What are their activities? What are their actions? And those sorts of things. There's a lot of people out there that just love to be people watchers. But may I suggest to you, what about people listening? Listening to what people say, the words that they choose to use. You're right, it is fascinating to watch people, but it's just as interesting to listen to people and the words that they use, their word choices, the way they frame their sentences, and these sorts of things. Are you listening to what people are saying? Because the second test of trying to discern the Spirit of God is in communication. What are people saying? What do they think is appropriate to say? So I want to challenge you to be a people listener just as much as you like to be a people watcher. So let's read this section of Scripture. 1 John chapter 4, verses 4 through 6. You are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. They are of the world, therefore they speak as of the world, and the world hears them. We are of God. He who knows God hears us. He who is not of God does not hear us. By this we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. So John is telling us there's quite the dichotomy here of people who are of God and people who are not of God. They hear them and we hear us, and it's very separated here. And the test that he's using is that of communication. The world hears them. People who are believers hear us. What are you listening for? And are your wires getting crossed? So let's start to look at this. You are of God, little children, have overcome them, because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. They are of the world. Who is the they? Unbelievers, those with the spirit of Antichrist, those who don't know God. Unbelievers, they are of the world. The world and its system, the world and its construct, the world and its leaders, and Satan, and this is his fallen realm. And unbelievers by nature are children of wrath, and they're going to listen to and follow what Satan says, and they're going to start to call good evil and evil good, and they're going to think that things that are morally reprehensible are now okay. Did you see the Grammys, by the way? Somebody saw that and was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I think that's a great idea. We live in a topsy-turvy world, and unbelievers just eat that all up. As believers, we need to be able to test these spirits. We need to be able to look at this. We need to be able to hear this and discern that, you know what I'm hearing is not okay. The world hears them. Therefore, they speak as the world, and the world hears them, and we are of God. He who knows God hears us. He who is not of God does not hear us. So when you say, maybe don't tell that joke, and people go, what a dummy. There's your test. What are you hearing? What are you listening for? Can you hear the difference between the speech of a believer and the speech of an unbeliever? Because it's vastly different. The word choice, the way we talk about people, the love that we give, the fact that our speech is seasoned with salt and theirs is not. You got to be listening for this stuff. You have to be able to discern this so that you can discern the Spirit of God. Have a great day.